My, what difference does a year make? So, uh, every once in a while, you run across just a feckless coward in your life. There's sissy soy boys like AD, right? And then there's like physical cowards, okay? And what a coward is somebody that will do things to people and then run and hide when it's time to face the consequences of it. That's a coward. And in his defense, in Fred Schwartz's defense, he was raised by an insecure, one-upper father who, when he looks in the mirror, he feels extremely inferior about who he is, about his manhood, about his life's achievements. And so he has to one-up everything he sees. He has to be the biggest, best of everything in the room at all times to try to feel secure about himself. And he raised his kid in much the same way. Now, an example would be, I can promise you, I can guarantee it without even knowing. When Fred Schwartz was 7 years old, he would probably go to the playground and pick on 4-year-olds. And when the 4-year-old's parent would finally yell at him, his daddy would step in and defend him. Instead of spanking his ass and sending him home, he would defend him, right? Or if little Fred Schwartz would do something at school he shouldn't have been doing, instead of him getting in trouble at home when he got in trouble at school, Fred Schwartz would run to the school and yell at the teacher. Okay, that's the kind of parenting he had growing up. So what chance would he have of being a responsible adult that isn't a coward, that's like a confident man? Okay, so that tells us who we're dealing with, right? And there's just so much to cover here. I just don't want to get too lost. All right, excuse me if I run off in the weeds a time or two, but I'm giddy and I'm tired. I actually was in Detroit and had to drive straight from Detroit to Cincinnati, and I've got some video of that that I'll share, the work we were doing in Detroit. And so I put in some serious driving in the last couple of days. But anyway, I where to start? We've all saw what happened over the last year, right? So how do we get here? All right. So for just to memorialize this, let's recant. I know some of you have heard it 100 times, but these videos mean something now. And so how did we get here? Well, Ryan Upchurch decided that he was going to be a true crime investigator, and he started doing a series of live streams, inserting himself into the Kylie Rodney case, a missing girl in California. And because he was doing drugs and out of his mind, and tripping balls, he started accusing random YouTubers of doing something to this child, right? Specifically, a very fine young lady that gave years of service to our country, an immigrant from Ukraine, and he flat out accused her of doing heinous stuff to children after fully doxing her. And sitting by his side was Fred Schwartz. They also, during Ryan Upchurch's dope-fueled hallucination, and that's what it was, absolute paranoid hallucinations, being up for days, taking notes, Fred Schwartz by his side, because Fred was going to manipulate a truck out of him. They slandered another YouTuber, Icked Mel, a guy that's been around for quite a while, accused him of heinous crimes against children, said that his YouTube name was an encryption of "I sell kids with a C." They then decided that, Kylie Rodney's parents were faking having a child, and they singled out a girl who lived in a completely different part of the state, a 16-year-old girl. The only crime that girl had was there was a picture of her sitting in the back seat of a car with her friends acting goofy. Just this random photo on the internet that Ryan Upchurch took and literally got the metadata out of the photo and doxed this girl, a 16-year-old girl, claiming that she was the body double for this GoFundMe scam, while Fred Schwartz was sitting right beside him on those live streams. And their slander of Callie Ross was so egregious that her father had to get to send the police to Ryan's house to make them take down all the photos of his child, that they had no business being on her social media. And what I now know to be true is they created a fake child account so that they could get on her Facebook and get all those photos they posted of her. And the police had to make Ryan take that down. And as you all know, there are lawsuits now filed in the courts. I know of 3. One of them hasn't been announced publicly, and Ryan hasn't shared it. But Crack Squad, I hate to tell you, the 3rd lawsuit has come in, and it's filed. And there's one more coming. And just like I said, what happened. And so I don't want to forget anything. So in response to that, I made a video saying, wow, man, I see your name's Powerstroke. Seem like you might be a pretty cool dude. Man, what are you doing sitting there with Upchurch hiring a kite, slandering all these people? My goodness, son, you could get yourself sued. I mean, that was the video. It was very respectful. There was nothing in it that was wrong or bad or anything. That video's still up. Anybody that wants to see, it's still there. And, of course, Fred Schwartz's father, just as I predicted, comes running to his rescue, calling that an attack. Said, I attacked his son. Making that video saying, hey, it seems like we got a lot in common. I see your name's Powerstroke. I got a really cool Powerstroke. Hey, what are you doing, man? You're slandering these innocent people and this 16-year-old girl. This can't end good, man. Don't do that. Right? That was the video. And then we saw how Fred Schwartz responded to that. How did he respond to that? Well, Wade Deaver had went back a character that from the day I first critiqued Ryan Upchurch, the very first day, he went outside of YouTube, got on my Facebook, and he must have stayed up all night because I had my friends list set to private, but I didn't have my post set to private. And he went back through every post on my Facebook going back 20-some years. Now, I know you guys got to know how long that would have taken. Because when you scroll down, it only loads like a few, and then you got to wait, and then it loads a few more, and you got to wait, and then it loads a few. It would have taken hours. And he sent a message to every single person that had ever posted on my Facebook. Like out of the blue, I'm getting messages from friends I hadn't spoken to in years saying, who's this scummouth dude, man? What's up with this, right? And lo and behold, he runs across an ex-wife that is still a bitter clinger after 25 years. She was drunk the day I left her and divorced her, and she's still drunk today. It's not one thing has changed in 25 years. She's still the same person I dumped, a drunk. Fred Schwartz convinced her, because she's an alcoholic and doesn't think too clear, he convinced her to come on and slander me on his live stream. Now, I had originally made a video talking about my life, some things that I'd went through in my life, but I never mentioned any names. I never mentioned any locations, anything like that. No one would have known who she was. They would have just known I was married to some lady. That's all they would have ever known, right? She ousted herself by appearing on his live stream drunk. And then he had that whole series of round table discussions. One of them ran as 8 hours. One of those round table discussion videos was 8 hours long. And you can like load that video and you can click here and there and there and stop it at any random spot and they'll be talking slander shit about me. But for the entire 8 hours. Okay. And so I took the high road. As many of you know, the supporters of my channel, I took the high road. I just said, well, she's still drunk. I could have slandered the shit out of her. I could have responded in kind. I didn't. I just took the high road. Said, well, she's still drunk. Moved on. Right? And same thing with Schwartz. I took the high road. I didn't go outside of YouTube, do a background check on him, find any girls he used to date in high school. I didn't do any of that. Didn't go on his Facebook, go back I didn't do any of that. I just took the high road. As many of you know, I very patiently tolerated it, is what I did. And I made reaction videos to videos that were isolated to what was said, what was done on YouTube, the way it should be. The way that it should be and the way that it is gonna be when I'm done. I'll have you know. And so in traditional fashion, Fred Schwartz's daddy runs to his rescue, right? He's picking on people, doing the wrong thing. His daddy runs to his rescue, right? He went on a live stream, slandered a bunch of innocent people, slandered a 16-year-old girl, slandered some grieving parents, and then his daddy runs to his rescue by thinking if he attacks me, somehow this will go away. And so his daddy created a YouTube channel for the sole purpose of slandering me on live streams, and that is exactly what he did, and you all know that. There were over 100 of them that went on for an entire year. Right? And not one of those live streams ever took place that they weren't slandering me, something to do with my personal life, something to do with something outside of YouTube that had nothing to do with a video I posted or any information I posted myself, right? Exposing personal information I wouldn't have chose to share. Nobody would have. All for that matter. Like I'm under some obligation to give my real birth date or give my real age, or give my real, when you do YouTube, you got to do some etiquette there. You can, there's sometimes white lies are necessary. Like you don't come on and tell someone your exact age and shit, because then you get doxxed, right? So his father continued these live streams. And as you guys know, hovered over my house in Google satellite view for 10 hours, giving my full address, my full name, and then what they got from the ex-wife was my birth date, my age, and the last four of my social. And those things were also being posted in the chat, and they were left there. And again, I took the high road, didn't go outside of YouTube, just reacted to the videos themselves till it got to the point that I'm taking a ride on my motorcycle and I'm being called the P word while using my real name. Because as you guys know, my wife and I adopted a special needs child, and we have custody of a grandson that's 12 years old now. And so we have a special needs 10-year-old that we adopted, and then we have custody of my grandson that's 12 years old. And here they are using my likeness, my real name, my real address, my real phone number, my date of birth, and the last four of my social, while calling me a pedophile. Just taking a ride on my motorcycle. And that's when they crossed the line. That's when the line got crossed. So, and even then, I didn't do the dirty, filthy, nasty crap that they do. I simply responded to it in kind by posting a picture of his house. Just posted a picture of his house. There, how you like it? Right? And it's laughable to me how Crack Squad thinks that somehow I would have been suspended from YouTube. Given all the shit they do, that somehow I would have been suspended from YouTube when I haven't even had a strike against my channel or even had to take a video down. I know it's hard for Crack Squad to fathom, but there's nothing in the YouTube terms of service that says you can't critique Ryan Upchurch. He's a celebrity. You can critique him and YouTube don't care. So there would be no reason for them to take any videos of mine down or give it a strike on my channel or suspend me from the platform for months. It's just a fantasy world that you guys live in. Okay, so I had to get another 4 inches of my colon taken out. I'm not one to talk about my personal business or seek pity. So I just didn't mention it. I just took a break from the platform because I didn't want to be on there making videos looking all sickly, right? I just didn't want to do that. And during that time that I wasn't making any videos, the slander continued. And I'm not talking about reacting to a video poorly. I'm talking about going outside of YouTube, into my personal life, getting court, doing background checks, reading them line by line, getting court transcripts. Now, this is what I know for certain. Very few people would survive their income stopping abruptly and being hospitalized for 9 months and then a year in recovery. Very few people would survive that financially. 99% of Americans would be forced to file Chapter 13 in order to keep their house, keep their vehicles until they could get back on their feet and get rolling again. You know, you listen to the Soy Boy AD, he would lose his house in 3 months if his income stopped tomorrow. If his income stopped tomorrow in 3 months, his house would be gone. Just that simple, because he's got a high mortgage. He's got a high interest mortgage. And same with Fred Schwartz. If Fred Schwartz went in the hospital for 9 months and then had to go into recovery for a year, he would lose that $450 a month truck he's driving and lose his $800 a month house he's living in. And probably wouldn't pay his taxes either and be behind on his taxes. I mean, it's just a fact of life. I had temporary disability insurance, but it only lasted for 4 months, and then it was done. And then I had Aflac. Aflac was only good for 6 months, and then it quit. And then it took 3 months to get my temporary disability from SSDI, and so it didn't take long to get in trouble financially when I was the primary breadwinner, because as I said before, between me and my wife, my side gigs, my full-time job, and my wife, we were making 6 figures, and it dropped down to $29,000 a year overnight, which barely would cover our utilities and groceries. So, that being said, they literally go get transcripts from my fucking Chapter 13 hearing and dissect it line for line, grossly exaggerating. And as you all well know, Fred Schwartz's daddy also slandered my business and encouraged his viewers to leave negative reviews, and they did. As you all well know, Rich Newbuck called my neighbors, and on and on, right? And I had tolerated that graciously up to the point of the P word stuff, using my real name. That's just, it's too much. Nobody should put up with that. Nobody should put up with that. I told them to stop. I asked them to stop. Did not stop. I ignored them for 3 months. It did not stop. And so, admittingly, I didn't know either one of them's real name for the longest time. And then when I finally found out their real name, I thought, well, I'll hand it back to him a little bit. And I literally posted a picture of his house. That's it. Didn't do a live stream and read his background check. Didn't do a live stream, go get court transcripts. Didn't do a live stream giving his birth date and his age and past employers. Didn't call his past employers on a live stream. Didn't hover over his house in Google satellite view on a live stream. Just posted a picture of his house, right? And as you can see here, that feckless little coward that his daddy raised, the feckless little coward that was raised to pick on 4-year-olds when he was 8, and then his daddy run to his rescue. That feckless little coward ran to the courts and tried to file charges against me for posting a fucking picture of his house. After everything they've done to me, I posted a picture of his house, and he ran to the courts. And they denied it the first time. And so time moves on. They're still doing it. They won't stop. I said, look, I've had enough. I think all of you heard me say it. I've had enough. I've had enough of the going outside of YouTube, bothering me in my personal life. If you want to react to a video I've posted, feel free. You want to make fun of a video I posted, feel free. You want to talk about something I shared in a video, more power to you. But the going outside of YouTube, smearing my personal information around that I wouldn't have chose to shared myself, those days are done. I'm going to start responding in kind, and you're not going to like it. I know you all remember me saying that. Well, they didn't take that serious. So I responded in kind. I made a mock web page using his real name, calling him the P word. Here, how's it feel? How you like that? Hey, remember that time you hovered over my house and Google satellite view showing my address, my phone number, my birth date, last 4 of my social, saying a bunch of slander stuff? Well, here's a picture of your son's house with the mailbox. Didn't give the street. Just picture of the mailbox in the house. And he runs back to the courts and tried to get a restraining order against me. But here's where it gets really bad for Crack Squad and really bad for Freddie Schwartz and his daddy. Crack Squad. As you all know, the scuttlebutt running around the internet was they were going to rent a billboard and put my name, put my likeness on it and slander me on a billboard. Well, there's been Supreme Court standing on that, and you can't do it. And if you do it, you're wide open to the billboard people are wide open to a defamation, and the person who paid for it is wide open to slander. And you say to yourself, okay, what is slander? Well, slander is when you intentionally say something about someone that is untrue or grossly exaggerated in an attempt to harm their reputation. That's slander. Okay? And defamation is when you say, put out a bunch of slanderous rumors in an attempt to affect someone's livelihood. And they are guilty of both, right? His father slandered my business for 6 hours. So that's how we got here where we're at today. But old Wade Deaver here, Mr. Rotten Tooth himself. Now, how do I know Wade Deaver? He made 46 videos the day after I critiqued Ryan Upchurch. He started making videos, and there were 46 videos posted before I even knew who he was. Same thing with Eismick. It was 38 videos with Eismick before I ever even knew who he was. Linda Zajac was 30-some videos before I ever knew she existed on this earth. I mean, those are just facts of reality, right? And very slanderous stuff, not reacting to a video, not critiquing a video I posted, but just personal slanderous crap, right? And one thing we've learned about Wade Deaver, can't keep his mouth shut. And Fred Schwartz has created a big mess for himself with this, okay? And Wade Deaver has sealed the deal on, there's probably going to be charges. Let's tell you that now. So when you swear out one of these protection orders, you are not allowed to lie. When you fill out one of these protection orders and you involve the courts in your bullshit, it had better be the truth. You better not be grossly exaggerating or flat out lying. And when you sign it under penalty of perjury. You're then told the instant that it is filed not to speak on it. Wasn't you, Freddie? Wasn't you told not to speak on it? But there's a problem. You see, the Schwartzes have a little private chatty group where they all coordinate their efforts against myself, right? And they couldn't wait to blab that they filed this attempt to get a restraint after everything they have fucking done to me. They tried to get a restraining order because I did it back to them one time. Posted a picture of his house, used his real name, said, "Oh, how you feel being called the P word using your real name? How's it feel?" Right? So, when this paperwork got filed and I got the notification of it, I talked to the Boone County prosecutor's secretary for like 30 minutes on the phone. And I sent her everything they had before they had ever set that shit to private. And plus I had all the screen caps anyway. I don't know what good setting it to private would do, because all the slander stuff you guys have done, I have it all. You make no mistake. I got every bit of it. And so, and they have a leaker in that group. They have a mole. So anyway, as you guys know, there was a hearing set for 11/20, which was Monday morning at 9:15 a.m. And I went live from my hotel saying I was in Detroit, just trying to mess with their head. Right now, I actually was in Detroit the whole week before, and I've got some videos of that to share with you. But I actually had to drive from Detroit all the way down, came back home, grabbed some supplies, made a quick video, got a different change of clothes, and then on down to Boone County. And so I drove quite a bit for 2 days in a row. And they weren't supposed to speak on it. Okay. He was not supposed to speak on it. Once you see that where it says dismissed, right about where we at right there. Okay. On November 20th. Okay. So while I'm doing that live stream at the hotel, Wade Deaver posted this. And then he did this live stream with this.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to use as his screen name.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to get what's coming to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely going to get it. And honestly, to tell you the truth, like, even if the billboard idea fails, then I'll have signs made and have people go put them in all along the roadways.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, you know, all we got to do is get in touch with Jessica, send her up there, and you plant one right on her forehead. I mean, that's a walking billboard right there.
Yeah, Smart Mouse, that's a good idea.
So now, if y'all remember, I don't know how many of y'all watched his little live last night, but after we found out his location, and now, Seeper, did you want to continue on how we done that?
I don't want to get into necessarily of how I did it,
Okay.
because there's a lot of people out here that run with, oh, that's illegal. You know, it's not. It can be. I mean, I didn't use sources to do it. It's just I have some ways of being able to find somebody's shit. You know, especially when you have their cell phone number.
So yeah, yeah. So without, I guess, really going into detail and being accused of doing something that it shouldn't have, there were a few of us in there last night toying with him, and Seeper even offered him to come down to his club, and wouldn't even charge him for parking. you know, but yeah, we let him know real quick, and I don't know. Seeper, do you think maybe he was confused? You think maybe dementia's kicking in? I mean, he says he was live from Detroit, but obviously we know he wasn't. So should we tell the good people where he was at?
Yeah, let's tell them.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, let me switch over to Brand real quick. Now, see, folks, here's the thing. Well, what's wrong with StreamYard?
Well, I tell you what. Before we tell them, let's get chat. Where do y'all think?
I was gonna say some people in chat already know. I just seen him, but yeah, where do y'all think he was at? Go ahead, Seeper. Yeah, let's see. Drum roll.
Oh, so there's people in chat that think.
Well, yeah, there was a few people guessing already beforehand, and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Inside Corner said a gay club. Well, shit. Okay, y'all. Live's over.
So
Inside Corner's
so
already.
So we got Tennessee, we got the Park, we got Nashville.
Look at that. I was gonna say, yeah, Apple Creek said Nashville. Hey.
We got home.
There says
we got Cincinnati.
Yeah, well, Mark watched that live last night, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Now, are y'all ready? See, he's not working on cars. No. PPR's view today. Where was it, folks? Come on. I know y'all are just getting curious. This is where he was at today, folks.
Now, how would Wade Deaver know there was a court hearing unless it came from you, Fred Schwartz? Right? Mr. Perjured himself? How would he have known? So, And Wade wasn't the only one that knew. Everybody in their little group knew. I mean, I get screen caps from their little chatty group every other day. So anyway, you see, Crack Squad, and I've told you this. If they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you. The same little moles that were moling to you are now moling to me. And good luck finding out which one it was, because I think you'll be shocked. I'll never tell. But all your shit's being shared. So anyway, where was I? So I posted one photo of this jackass's house and then made a mock web page using his real name, calling him the P word, going, how's it feel? How you like that? You guys been doing it to me for a year. There you go. How's it feel? Right? And he runs to the courts like the fucking coward that he is. And you should see the lies he put in this sworn complaint. He put in this sworn complaint that he feared physical threats from me and that I had threatened to sexually assault him. And he signed it and swore to it. And then when he showed up at court, he had some stupid broad with him. I don't know who she thought she was, like some kind of paralegal. Maybe she's a secretary for some attorney and she thought she knew everything. And she had her a little binder with all this in there. And the judge says, who the hell are you? And she says, well, I'm going to testify on his behalf. I've got a case prepared and I'm going to be representing him. And the judge looked at her and said, no, you're not. No, you're not. And sent her the fuck out of the room. And so there was Fred standing there with his fucking pants down. Okay, unprepared. And he literally perjured himself 4 fucking times in a row. Stumbling all over himself. Painting a picture to the courts. Now, in this complaint that he first swore, this one, I could show you, and trust me, you wouldn't believe the drivel that he put in here to try to get this restraining order. Just gross exaggerations and pure fabrication. So then he's testifying to the court, trying to justify this restraining order he's trying to get from a 63-year-old guy from Ohio. And he's perjuring, just tripping all over himself, perjuring himself right and left. And he tried to paint a picture that he was just home reading his Bible. And because he's friends with Ryan Upchurch, I started attacking him out of the blue for no reason. And that I had made physical threats against him. And when you guys all know the physical threats were them against me, right? Dozens of times. Voicemails saying they're going to come to my house and hurt me. Just on and on and on, right? I mean, there's just tons of it. Tons of it. And his dad physically threatened me 3 times. Had those screen caps with me on a thumb drive. And I had already sent a thumb drive full of my evidence to the Boone County prosecutor when I first got these papers, because I was going to file a motion to just dismiss it. Just have it fucking dismissed without even having a hearing, right? And the Boone County prosecutor secretary called me back and said, no, just come to the hearing and show them what you got, and they'll dismiss it in the hearing, and that way it will be memorialized. Because I told him, when I talked to his secretary, I told her that I fully intend to sue his dad for slander. And I am suing him for slander. He's going to be sued, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm just waiting to see if this other suit gets filed that I'm fairly certain is going to be. So, where was I? So, he shows up. He's got this stupid rod with him that she thinks she's just going to run the show, and she gets kicked out of the courtroom right away. And he stood there and perjured himself, painting this picture that, he's just this poor, innocent victim that because he's friends with Ryan Upchurch, I just started stalking him. That's literally what he put his hand and went under oath and said in that court. And I sat there and just let him carry on for 15 minutes, never interrupted. I just sat there listening to it thinking, Jesus Christ, dude, you cannot lie in a court like this. I'm thinking to myself. And so when it came time for me to speak, the first thing I said was, is he under oath? And the judge said, yeah, you both are. I said, well, we have a problem right away. And when I spoke to her about the evidence that I had with me, I wasn't even done. I didn't get 3 minutes in, and she dismissed the case and kicked his ass out of the courtroom. Dismissed the case and kicked him out of the courtroom. Get out of my courtroom. And, but it gets better. Okay, it gets better. So I went in the conference room where I had already talked to the Boone County prosecutor secretary about this. She had a thumb drive with all my evidence on it, and she said that if there was something that legally that could be done, they would let me know, and the prosecutor would call me back, and blah 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 blah. Right? And I was told, but then don't speak on it, don't say anything about it, blah blah blah. Right? So then I find out that Wade Deaver and his buddies are stalking me at the hotel room before the night of the hearing. And here's a piece of that.
See, oh, your boy Psychobabble Rap keeps lying and spewing crap, saying he went to Detroit when members of Creek Squad knows he's got to appear in Boone County courts. That's right, folks.
So, Psychobabble was in court today. Getting back to when I found his location, I started, like I said, my wheels started turning, and I was like, what the fuck's he doing in Kentucky? So I started looking up some information, and Psychobabble had court today.
Bright and early, too.
So Kentucky is a long way away from Detroit, Psychobabble. That's why I told you last night in your chat that you were real close to me. You could come down and have a beer at the club after today. And I wasn't even going to charge you for parking.
No, we'd have let you park for free.
And Psychobabble is still in that area as of currently.
So I'm at a loss for words that they think that they can play with the courts with this now, where they can drag the courts into this stalking of me and my wife. And let's face it, everybody knows they have been stalking me for a year, me and my wife, my family, calling my job on live, past employers on live streams, calling my neighbors, ringing my phone all hours of the night, sending shit to my house, making physical threats, floating over my house in Google satellite view, giving out my real name, real address, telephone number, birth date, last four of my social, drive 4 hours to get transcripts from a 22-year-old court hearing, and then from a bankruptcy hearing and read it line by line on a live stream. I mean, you guys have all seen it. So when I found out that they were literally stalking me at the hotel room the night before the hearing, this case they weren't supposed to speak on, I called that secretary back right away. And I was sitting in a conference room there and waiting on my paperwork, my dismissal paperwork. where it was fucking dismissed. And lo and behold, I'm leaving and my phone rings. And it's the secretary calling me back. Okay. And while I'm talking to her on the phone, Fred Schwartz is tailgating me in his fucking truck. And I took a picture of it real quick and sent it to her. So not only did he lie, he lied and swore to a bunch of lies on his original complaint. He then perjured himself under oath because I had evidence clearly showing that they had been stalking me for a year, that if there was a restraining order in due, it would be one for me against them. And then he wasn't supposed to speak on the case. And lo and behold, they're stalking me at my hotel room the night before, and they're talking about it all over the internet when there's no way Wade Deaver would have known about this but for Fred Schwartz telling him. You guys didn't hear me mention it. You guys never heard me say a whisper of it. The only thing I ever said is I'm going to Detroit. So, while I'm leaving the courthouse, he's tailgating me. Like I'm going to be afraid of him or something. Literally tailgating me. And so I just held my phone up, bam, took a picture of it, sent it to her. And I've got a meeting with the Boone County prosecutor coming up real soon. And I'm going to pursue perjury charges and stalking charges against that son of a bitch. And guess what, Fred Schwartz? Your birth date and shit is all over this paperwork. Dumbass. So all I had to do was go look at birth records that year, and now I got your daddy's shit. All of it. Because that was the only thing I was lacking, was just a few minor details. And now I got it all, thanks to you, thanks to Wade Deaver. And let me tell you something, buddy. You don't get to waste the court's time with your crack squad nonsense. Anybody with a brain the size of a peanut would know that if you were afraid of me, if you were worried that I was stalking you, why are you and your father and your friends bothering me and my wife every single day because I critiqued a celebrity that you like? I've never done jack shit to you, never did jack shit to your father, never done jack shit to Wade Deaver, never done jack shit to any of them. Isn't that right? So now that you guys have drugged the courts in it, I'm going to see it through. I'm going to see it through with the courts now that you have bothered the courts with it. And I'm absolutely going to pursue perjury charges against you and stalking charges. And I can't believe you fucking tailgated me out of that place while I literally had the county prosecutor's secretary on the goddamn phone. Good luck. And let me tell you something, Freddie's father. I'm absolutely am suing you for slander. Positively. Deleting your videos was a waste of time. I have them all. Leave me and my family alone for the last goddamn time. And if I want to critique Ryan Upchurch, I'll critique Ryan Upchurch. And if any of you fuckheads have one whisper, I'm talking a fucking microspec of anything outside of a video I have posted, anything to do with my personal life, anything to do with a court hearing from 20 years ago, you let me hear you speak a fucking whisper of that shit. Just look right over here to the right. Date of birth, 2, blah, blah, blah. Right? Watch me post the shit you had in the courts a few years ago there, buddy. And you know, on your birth certificate was your daddy's birth date. dumbass. You got some shit in the court too there, don't you? Mr. One-Upper, Mr. World Champion of Base. I'm done pissing with you guys. I'm ready to engage. I'm ready to respond in kind. I'm ready to get down in the mud and waller with you and watch me win, because you know what? I've got what's right on my side. I got what's legal on my side. And I've got a year's worth of you guys stalking me and slandering me on my side. And up church, you ain't paying these guys enough. They're doing a shitty job. You're going to get fucking sued by the Rodney family, and you're going to fucking pay them, and you're going to goddamn apologize. You're going to get sued by Ickadmel, and you're going to pay him, and you're going to fucking apologize. And there's another suit coming. Isn't there? Mister, I tell my fans everything, and I vlog about my whole life. Why haven't you told your fans about the other suit? Fuck off, Crack Squad. You got your boy in some big trouble, Wade Deaver, with your mouth. So congratulations is all I'm going to tell you. And I'll bring it. Fucking bring it. Because right here's where it'll start. And you watch it not end well. Have a good night, folks. That's Crack Squad, the cowards of the fucking internet. Troll somebody for an entire year, and the instant it's done back to them, they run to the courts and try to get the courts to save them. There won't be any saving you from the perjury and the stalking bullshit. And there ain't going to be no saving your father from the slandering he did of my fucking business and allowing people in his chat to call me the P word while my last four of my social and my birth date and all that shit sitting over there in the chat, which I have screen caps of. Just try me. I'm done playing with you guys. You involve the courts, let's go. Because now nobody can call me a coward for going to the courts. You wanted to take it here, let's go.